We're going to now talk a little bit about the scandal over the junket you may have heard about to Paradise. Oh, they can run away from our questions all they like, but eventually the California legislators who took a week-long trip to Hawaii, where they rubbed elbows with special interests like PG&E and Chevron, they will have to answer for how they spent their time. Now, we tried speaking with one of them today. State Senator Ron Calderon, the Montebello Democrat, was handing out some turkeys. That's interesting, by the way, at a Thanksgiving event, at a charity event. But Calderon didn't want to talk about Maui.
I think today is all about giving back to the community. This event is all about helping families have a wonderful Thanksgiving. And at this point in time, I don't think it's right to address that issue.
It's not right. Calderon tries to jovially give us the brush off, walking away from our producer. But when we caught up with him later, he was not in such a cooperative holiday mood.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You know that? We're trying to do something good here, and you're worried about some yellow journalistic story.
Yellow journalistic story. All right, Mr. Calderon, we have Doug Heller here from Consumer Watchdog. Yeah. You're not any more happy with this than we are or than a lot of constituents are.
Oh, no, I think it's absolutely outrageous. You have California in, one of the worst economies in generations.
$13 billion in debt.
We've got $13 billion in debt. The schools are crumbling. Our healthcare system and social safety net has holes growing bigger every hour. Yet our politicians, they're out at a five-star hotel occupying Maui. These guys, while we're suffering here in California, have decided to go on a retreat with the very special interests who keep getting their way and making things worse for us in this
state. All right,
state.
now, let me take the other end here, Doug. It's all perfectly legal. The group, which is California Independent Voter Project, which is funded by all of these special interests we're talking about, they are a nonprofit. Right. Nonprofits can pay for these getaways for politicians.
Sure, it's legal. But remember, it's the lawmakers who are going on these trips to Hawaii who write the laws. Of course, it's legal. They're protecting themselves. But it's not right. It's not acceptable for all of us who are sitting here trying to get our heads around the problems that we have in California and trying to get some solutions. They go off for some fun in the sun. Now, they tell us, and I've heard this year in and year out, these trips are so we can go into a calm environment without all the pressures of Sacramento and get some bipartisan brainstorming done. Well, you know what? I don't care much about bipartisan brainstorming. Every time they come back to Sacramento, they're still in the same old stalemate. It seems to me that this is just a vacation with a little bit of cover-up.
Well, but something does happen. I mean, and I'll go by the L.A. Times report and credit the Times. I'm sorry, I don't have the right. Yeah, it's Patrick McGreevy. Patrick's a great reporter. Yeah. Last year, Senator Roderick Wright, he went, Democrat from Inglewood. He was wined and dined to the tune of a $186 meal by the California Cable Telecommunications Association. This year, he proposed a tax on satellite providers, which are competitors of cable TV.
Well, you and me, when we get gifts, we write thank you notes. But when the politicians get gifts, they write laws. And that's the thing. These companies, the tobacco companies, the Chevrons, and the utility companies that fund these luxury junkets to Hawaii and other places around the world, they don't do it out of the goodness of their heart. They do it because they see a return on their investment. All right, that return comes in the form of special interest favors, legislation, access that what we're talking about now, the 99% of us, don't ever get.
Okay, so here, let's get done complaining here. What do you do about it? You're California Watchdog. Yeah. We just brought it to light. You're bringing it to light. What do you do about it?
Well, look, I actually think that the law has to change. Now, I mentioned right at the outset here, these lawmakers, they're the ones that make the bills. When are they ever going to hold themselves accountable? Well, they're not until we have to get really mad about this. If at some point, there have been big public announcements about initiatives to reform government, well, let's start with something really straightforward. Just prohibit luxury vacations paid for by special interests. It's very simple. I mean, the law could be written in about 2 sentences.
Or you could maybe just get guys in office who just don't take the handout.
That's all right. You simply don't need to take these trips.